Irreconcilable differences is part of life, and marriage is a beautiful thing. My name is Bidi Nana. Good to have you today on another edition of Real Talk. Here we keep it real. Everything relationship, we do it here and we keep it real. Good to have you here again, once again. And like always, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my wonderful colleagues around the world. Joining us to do it today, like always, all the way from Milan, Massive Mike. Massive Mike, are you here? Good to have you here again. Your audio, I can't hear you. Your audio.
Yes. Can you hear me now? It's good to have you.
I can hear you very well. Yeah. Good to have you here. Always looking good.
Yes. Thank you very much. And George is also
all the way from Toronto. We have Sir George. He's an authority in a relationship matter. Sir George, good to have you here. Oh, I like this dedication. Even on the road, he has to stop to join us to make your life beautiful. Sir George, I appreciate this effort.
My greetings from Ontario, Canada, all the way, and we want to welcome our viewers today. Today's topic actually is a very important one, and I hope that you logging in, that you will pay attention in case you're on the verge of getting married, already married, or even planning on a divorce. Today's topic is very, very important. So I just want to welcome all the viewers from around the world and my colleagues here. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like he said, today's topic is very important topic for the society development, not just for an individual. Because let me tell you, marriage institution is a very important institution, but people might not see it as it is, because whatever thing that our marriage becomes, that is what our society will become. But before we go on this topic today, from the studio, we'll have a video to play for you before we continue. Don't get away, we're still here.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, it's a clip that has gone viral, and we want to add it to the discussion so that we can assess it and talk about it and look at it from that angle. So this is it.
People could accuse women wrongly. Every little problem for family, they go send a woman cause her. And we get useless men who fool everywhere. Walk up and down, they maltreat women. And they tell you when they see videos like this, say Association of Nigerian Divorced Women. That is women who don't marry before, but they don't divorce. See them now.
Wow, that's a big one. Association of Divorced Nigerian Women. That's a big one, and that's a big crack in our marriage institution. Now, it's good for someone to have a divorce if you can't reconcile your irreconcilable differences. But for getting to this stage, then we now have an association from it. I think it's a very big problem for us, but we might not know. We might look at it as a laughable thing, but it's a problem. It's something to be concerned about. And that's what we'll be talking about today. Association of Divorced Women. Now, it has gotten to the stage that people are now proud to say, I am divorced, or people are now celebrate. Do you know what it means for someone to now celebrate that she is getting divorced? We'll come to what the guy is saying, but our focus now is on these women who has to celebrate for their freedom, for getting divorced. There's a big crack on our marriage institution. Sir George, let me start with you. Now, we'll have Association of Divorced Women in Nigeria. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with having an association of people that share common values or common pain or maybe because they, they've come to the point where they need support from those that have experienced what they are going through. There's nothing wrong with that. The video was talking about how happy they were. Now, you cannot judge a book by its cover. You cannot judge because somebody comes to appear to be happy in a communal setting, that that individual in the quietness of their lives, that they are happy too. So, I don't see anything wrong with having a community of people coming together. If it is for the purpose of helping one another, if it is for the purpose of actually maybe abused women that in a relationship, now after they are divorced, they don't know which way to go or how to carry their lives anymore, or whether they even have any hope of remarrying. So these associations ought to be something to help each other. If it is so, then that's okay by me. There's nothing wrong with that. Another aspect of the stuff was that the man was blaming, men only. It takes two to tango in every relationship. I don't care where you come from. It takes two to tango. In every relationship, largely, if divorce is taking place, two parties will share the blame some kind of way, because sometimes it's because of what the woman is doing or what the man is doing that is causing, an irreconcilable differences. But in essence, really, marriage, the sanctity of marriage has been broken down in our society today. It has no value anymore. People even doing prenup before they get married. That's it's getting ready for divorce before marriage takes place. So that's where we are right now in our current society and how things are being done.
Wow, that is a big one. People are already prepared for divorce before even getting married. That's a sad one. You're going into something and you're already prepared for coming out of it. Then my question is this: why going into it, Massive Mike? Do you understand?
Absolutely. Why go into it in the first place? First of all, let us talk marriage from the creator of marriage, and that's God. He planned marriage to be one very beautiful thing. In fact, the essence also is to make more humans like him, like God, bringing more of his kind into the world, and to also have this beautiful family of uh, his kind too. You know, now this whole thing was intended to be a beautiful plan, but somehow it has gone south, like they say. Somehow it has really been bastardized, damaged, and no more essence. We don't. Sometimes people even just marry. They don't know why they are married. They're marrying because people they feel it's something everybody's doing. So divorce really shouldn't be an option. Like George said, you have the prenup arrangement, which is like planning to divorce it before you even get married. There's one they also have called the no fault divorce. The no fault divorce is the one you're separating and nobody's to be blamed. Nobody should take any blame. Everybody goes their way. No fault, no wrongdoing is put on any party. The man goes, the woman goes. So all these things are all what they've added into this divorce whole thing and make it look like a legit nice thing. But actually, divorce is not. Divorce is not a good option. Um, George said the video of the women dancing is that you don't judge a book by its cover. That's so true. I can bet you those women were just putting on a show. Deep down,
Now,
it's not what it is. They could just come
Massive
out and
Mike,
dance and say, "I'm happy, I'm out of this marriage." But deep down, the woman has been made to be under a man. So no matter what the circumstances may be, a woman has been made to be under a male. So you can't tell me you're coming out of that plan and you're happy about it. You can't be
Massive
happy
Mike.
about it.
I
Mhm.
want to take you on two questions here. He said marriage
Wow.
divorce is not an option. The thing is that
Yeah,
nobody prays for divorce. Nobody will want to get a divorce. If
that's
you
correct.
truly want to go into that marriage, into that relationship, divorce will never be an option. But it becomes an option. Why? Because people are getting more hostile these days. people are becoming too toxic. Both parties, you see a man, you see a woman. Do you understand? Now we know that men will have a lot of abusive men. We still have abusive women. We've seen
Yes.
women who go physical in their husband. So and divorce should be an option in such situation. Do you understand? Now, last question I want to ask you is that he said women are meant to be under a man. Nobody is
Yes.
debating on that. Nobody is debating on that. But the thing is this: the main thing is this: men, women are meant to complement men. Do you
Okay.
understand? And men are,
Yeah.
that is just what, that's the right word. We complement each other. So I
Yes.
think that's being under is actually where we are getting it wrong from. Sir George, you know, like what this guy said, like from me, if you ask me, in every relationship, in every divorce, everyone takes blame. The man, the woman, you understand? Because
True.
it's now obvious that two of you cannot reconcile your differences. That is
That's
why you
correct.
decided to go your separate ways. Now,
That's
The
so
correct.
truth
everybody
of the
takes.
matter, the truth of the matter is this: you cannot, a two-headed animal is a monster.
Exactly.
Okay,
Straight up.
so the
Yeah.
man is the head of the household, spiritually and traditionally and culturally. The man is the head of the household. That is how God created man to be. And the Bible even tells you that man was not made for woman, but woman was made for man. So the point is this: in a relationship, yes, it ought to be complementary.
Hmm.
That's the key word there, where the man respects and loves the wife, and the woman respects and loves the husband. But in a setting, in a household, the man is the head of the household. Now, when you start seeing what is happening in our days now, where women are usurping the authority and want to be the head, this is what you call the Jezebel spirit. Now, each ought to, commit to one another, submit to one another in a fashion that is acceptable. So, we have to understand that. I know these days, things are changing. Sometimes you will see in a lovely and wonderful relationship, you see a woman who is making even more money than the husband, yet submits respectfully to the husband. Because what a man needs most than anything else is respect. What a
Ahead.
woman needs more than anything else is love and protection, security. So that's the key
Sir
there.
George,
We have to really understand the way God
Sir
made it to
George,
be and respect
Sir
that.
George, hold it there. Let me now explain where the angle this guy is coming from. Now you said it that yes, nobody is dragging that, nobody is saying that men are not the head of the family. Now, of a truth, majority of our men these days has become monsters. I must be frank with you.
They
Many
have
of
become
our
what?
monsters.
Monsters.
Yes, many of our men today. And it's because of lack of understanding of this word being the head. Now, you talked about submissiveness. And many men, what they want is a slave. They are not looking for a woman to submit to them. Many men mistake this submissiveness to be slavery. And that is where we have gotten to. And that is why you see a woman leave a marriage and celebrate, because the person she married as a husband has automatically turned into a monster, no longer a human being, no longer a husband who is expected to love her. So it becomes a different thing. The thing is this: our culture empowers the men to be the superior being, and that actually has gotten into the head of a lot of men. It is obvious. I'm speaking from this part of the world where I'm from Africa, from Nigeria. The men has been empowered to be the superior being, and based on that, they've taken that into their marriage, and they've treated most of their women like a lesser being, and it has resulted to a lot of problem in our homes. Do you understand? Now, if I
Yes.
wish the men would be able to educate them the difference between slavery and submissiveness. So many men who said they want a woman to submit to them, They are not looking for a wife. They're actually looking for a slave. And that is the way they've treated some of these their wives. And that is the single reason a woman will leave her marriage. Now, let me give you an example. You guys are my colleagues. And I'm happy working with you people. Meeting you people is one of the best things that's happened to me. If I stop speaking with any of you tomorrow, I will feel bad. It will hurt me. Do you understand? But when it goes to the situation whereby I'm now lost contact with Sir George, lost contact with Massive Mike or Dr. Shegu, and I'm happy, it means there's a problem. Do you understand? So that is the issue. I think we should actually be able to understand what is slavery and what is submissiveness, because our men has actually missed this. The difference
Yes.
between slavery
Let
and
me
submissiveness.
yeah, you speak well, speak fluent. Let me also add that it's both sides is to be blamed when divorce comes into marriage. Yes, that's a fact. There are errors from both parties. The man has his error, like you just said, and obviously the woman has her error too. Divorce doesn't it shouldn't have been. I mean, we shouldn't be having divorce, but in some cases, it becomes um, it becomes
And
very
it becomes a necessity.
a necessity.
To save
So
a life.
what we're also going to do is also, like we said in the beginning, give out some pros and cons of divorce, recognize the biases, the problems, and all that, and give it out. So the two sides are to be blamed. One hand, nobody wants to be divorced. Nobody wants to be in a position where you have to begin to consider uh, uh, getting out from something beautiful you started, you know. So, but when it becomes a necessity, like George said, then you have to get out. The Bible gives only one reason for a man to divorce his wife. One reason, and that reason is if she has
Infidelity.
gone out
Infidelity.
infidelity. You see,
Let's hold it there.
so
Let's hold it there, Massive Mark. Please hold it
okay,
there. That is
okay.
actually, let's be frank. See, I want us to talk real here. Now,
Real.
Bible said the only reason a man should divorce his wife is infidelity. And the Bible tells us that your body as a woman belongs to your husband, and your husband's body belongs to you. In our society today, our men expect their women to be faithful. And
Mhm.
honestly, I will be frank to you. I will not tell you. I will not tell you 50%. I'll tell you that I will not tell you. I'll tell you that up to 60% of, I'm speaking from my area, up to 60% of women are faithful. I won't tell you 70 or 80. Up to
Are you
60% of women.
sure? Is it up to
Yeah,
50?
yeah.
You
We have
think
up
it's
to
up to
60. Yeah,
50
we
with
still
what
have
we have
faithful
now?
women.
Now,
Yeah.
let's
Now,
take note of something.
no.
Times have changed. This generation
Now,
is actually a very
I'm coming somewhere. I'm getting to
so
where we still have up
okay.
to 60% of faithful women. Now you want your wife to be faithful to you, but you're not faithful to her. Do
Mhm.
you understand? The problem why this divorce is coming to an increase because we live in a society of lies. We don't call a spade a spade. We don't say the way it is. Now you have a family meeting and there's a problem between a man and a wife. The family will look the woman in the face and put all the blame on her. They cannot look at the man and condemn her and blame her and tell her what he's doing is wrong. In my language, let me tell you how they used to say. They'll say, "Ada amo ewoki ikpe n'iru nwunye ya." Do you understand what it means? They say you
Yes.
don't judge a man in front of his wife. And that is actually where the problem is coming from. Now you empower that man. You see a man who wants faithful wife, but he's not faithful. He sleeps with everything around him. He sleeps with his housemate. He sleeps with friends, wife friends. You know, he sleeps with everything unscathed. And you're not faithful, and you still want faithful woman. No, let's call this thing the way they are, so that we can be able to solve our problems. We
Can
should
I come
not
in?
be. Please come
Okay,
in.
George. Yes, coming, George.
See, you see, what we have here is this: culture and tradition actually is one thing, but love in a relationship is another. So what we are seeing is that yes, culture have abused relationships whereby they put all the weight of the blame on the woman, whether it's her fault or not, which is not really supposed to be. So what we are looking at right now is, it's not, it goes from one culture to another culture, but generally the way things are going, these days is quite different from the way it used to be. You're saying about 60% of the women might be faithful. Mm, I beg to differ a little bit, because in
Yes.
our current society and what I have seen in Nigeria, my dear,
Mhm.
it is so crazy out there that you cannot really put your finger, and say yes, indeed, it is 60, is about 60%. The bottom line to it is that most women that cheat, you cannot find out.
Mm.
Men that cheat is easier for you to find them, because they're stupid. They don't hide. They just do the things anyhow. But women, when they cheat, they are so meticulous in their planning and strategy that you
Let's work
cannot
on
find
it.
out. So statistically, it could be equal, or even more women might be cheating without us knowing. You
Very,
understand? So
very
that's the reason why I beg to differ.
yes.
Because a woman will meticulously plan her ways, and and then take her, just do her thing, and she can do it for a long time.
Mm.
Because we are women, because we don't expect such from her. You don't even suspect, she keep on doing it, So, that's the reason why I would say that I do beg to differ in that statistical analysis that you gave. That's number one. Number two, indeed, I do agree with you that women has been abused largely, in relationships because of culture. And right now, if you truly love your wife, if you truly adore your wife, if you truly celebrate who she is and what she means to you, abuse should be non-existent in that relationship. And that's one thing. Because it's all about if you love a woman so much and she knows from the bottom of her heart that this man loves her and will protect her, believe me, that woman will give you her life. So, and that's how it is. Submission doesn't come from one side. A man ought to submit to a woman also in certain areas, in provision, in respect. Respect, they say, is reciprocal, and it is true. If you don't respect a woman, she's not your doormat, she's not your dog. What we're talking about is, a symbiotic relationship that benefits both, whereby two people can come to a common level of understanding and live a life that is so rich and so beautiful between both of them that, the world will envy it. Such marriages still do exist. They
I,
still
I,
do
I just
exist.
I just like what you said there. It's a symbiotic relationship. I'm telling you, that is one thing our men don't understand or don't agree. He said it. I said it earlier. Respect is a two-way thing. There was one program I attended last year. We talk about respect, and I told them that why we advocate for respect in this part of the world is because we don't teach people respect. That's why a man will say you don't respect. Respect is supposed to be taught generally. You respect everybody, irrespective of who you are. If you have respect as a culture, respecting your husband will not be an issue because it's something you will
So,
do effortlessly.
yes,
And men should too respect. But here,
respect.
you see a man who doesn't even respect a woman, but he wants the respect. It can't come.
Yes, but
See that?
apart from respect, there are some factors that affect marriages and leads most times to divorce. Yes, respect is one, but your this respect thing you're saying is actually an Africa in the African context. Take note of that. Here in the West, the man and the woman, they're like equal. I mean, George can confirm
Attest to
to
that.
that. Yes. Here, what we have more is financial issues between the couple, crisis, crisis issues. We also have more of the cheating. The man or somebody has cheated, and also when the woman claims that there is lack of love and sex in the relationship too. So the respect thing is in the African context. Here, the factors are quite different, and but one thing is the divorce. Divorce is on a high level. It's going on. Couples married today. In fact, you have couples that stay just a month. You have couples that say 2 months, and like so, and it's increasing every day. So
It's
what
increasing.
are yes, it's increasing every day. In Africa, it's increasing. In the West, it's increasing. Um, what I think we could also be looking at is um, a strategy of how to stop it. But because do you know that
Massive
if
Mark, see,
yes,
you're speaking English. This to
okay,
the stage at which we are now in this divorce thing, we don't need grammar. We need to face this
uh-huh.
and say it the way it
Yeah, so
is.
that's what
So,
I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to say. You see, do you know that if you bring a couple, the man and the woman, and sit them down and say, write down what you think is happening, what you think you're now hating about the man, your husband, or what you don't like about your wife, you find out that they will write things and they will you see that those things are nothing for them to work on.
is it a massive Mark, Sir George?
Do you understand what I
See,
just said?
what in our in our marriages, the culture,
Mhm.
our culture is the one that is destroying our marriage. If you leave a man and a woman alone and let them do their thing. I've seen it. Most people will sort themselves out. But the culture,
Mm,
the tradition is been this way. This is the way we do it. We hear statements like our mothers, our father, and I told them the things our mother endured. This time generation women will not endure it. The things our fathers tolerate, this generation men will not tolerate it. So we should leave those people and try to get things right. The thing
mm.
is this. Let me tell you the truth. Where we made a mistake is this. We made a mistake with our boy child. We did not train our boy child. I'm telling you, majority of our boys children, they don't know how to talk to a woman. Majority of them grow up in abusive environments. So to them, they feel that I need to beat my wife for her to respect me. Do you understand? I've seen a lot of men say that. And they need to, and a lot of men don't believe that they need to go for counseling or marriage seminars. You tell them go for marriage seminars. When Sir George was doing her seminar during the Valentine, I spoke to so many guys. Say, I want to send you a link so that you can just say for waiting now. I won't go school for marriage. You understand? So that is the mindset. Our men need to be told the truth. We need to be telling them it the way it is. See, women are easy to control. Women are easy to mend. But you see, men, once they form, they believe, it has been this way and it must be this way. And
But you see, when you're saying this, BD, you're looking at a group, a particular number of the gender, the female gender, because I can tell you it doesn't work in all cases. Listen, um, my friend, Saint Obi, you all know him, the Nollywood actor that passed last time. The story behind it, even though it's from a colleague, it's not like he's not saying it from any other angle. He's saying it as a friend, a colleague in the Nollywood sector, the two of them. The story is that the wife became so dominant that she held on to I mean she was the dominant one in the relationship. George was talking about the woman trying to ha- be in control. So you see, when that happens in most marriages, you put the man in a very very disturbing state, because a man is built to dominate, to be the head. So, but when the reverse is the case, it affects the man. And that was what happened to our good friend
Massive
Central.
Mike. It's
So now,
that's
yeah. So now
that,
you are giving the statistics of probably some group of people you know, and
now let me
that context, but it doesn't play out in the larger scale.
now, that is let me tell you. That is why I
Okay.
say our culture,
And
our tradition,
our time is
our
running out.
culture, our time, our culture has destroyed. Saint Obi, I said this on my platform. Saint Obi should have walked out of that marriage, but because culture, he was saying what people will say that I could not, we will say it in this part of the world. He could not even manage a common marriage. My children, now he is dead. Those children are still alive. If he had walked out of that marriage alive, that was why Sir George said having an association of divorced people is not a problem. It's a good thing if they can help themselves. If Saint Obi had walked out of that marriage, he would have still been alive by now. That woman and his siblings, they abused Saint Obi emotionally. And that is the worst abuse. When you abuse people emotionally. Even
And
when you're telling people,
that is what is happening. What when you
even
say what you say, that's what happens because when a woman, George was talking about the man being the head. When that position is reversed, believe me, it affects a man mentally.
you don't need the head. What you need is understanding and love, like Sir George said earlier. You don't need
So,
to be the head of
George, are you
anybody.
there? George, are you
All you
still
need
there?
I'm
is
here. Oh, I'm here.
understand.
I'm here.
When you
I'm here.
understand, all you need is understanding and love. And when there is understanding and love, respect comes in. The thing is this:
Now,
I just felt that Saint
you
Obi
see,
wife just wanted to answer them. She never loved that man because if she loved that man, she would have protected him against her own
Well,
siblings.
we don't know
Sir
much
George.
about that
we don't know
relationship.
the internal story that is going on, so
Yes,
we cannot
yes,
really be judges of the things that happen that we don't know. That's what
yes.
you call it speculative imagination. So
That's
we
correct.
don't want to go there,
Yeah, we
But what I can say to you is this: in conclusion, because I know we're running out of time.
yes,
Uh,
sir.
in conclu- in conclusion, I think we're going to do a part two of this. If you guys agree with
Up to
me,
part four. Up to part
up to
four.
part four. So let's continue with this discussion. But in conclusion, really, each case is different, between husband and wife, because part of the reason why the disrespect, is so rampant right now among certain tribal women, Igbo women especially, and that's the reason why you go to the U.S. because they started making money. You see that all of a sudden the divorce have skyrocketed in there, and a lot of them become victims of murder because of disrespect. Because there are a level of culture that you ought to have in your relationship because it is good. Now, I'm not talking about a woman being a doormat to a man, but there's a level of respect you will give to that man, regardless whether you make more money that than the person. And also another thing we're going to discuss next is these women that are using sex to manipulate their husbands, withholding sex from their husband for months. I have a friend that is suffering for several months. This woman refuses to have anything to do with the man sexually. So if that
It's
man goes
okay.
out now to cheat, what do you say? Who do you blame?
I'll blame the woman. Massive Mike, let's have your last word because we are already rounding off. Massive Mike.
Yes. Well, the word for today, since it's an intro to this beautiful topic, my last word for today is that marriage is a beautiful thing. Marriage was not intended to come and go. It's supposed to end. I mean, I see pictures of old men and old papa and old mama celebrating
Holding hands.
60 years,
Oh,
holding
that
hand
one,
in their
okay.
frail, fragile body. They are
Mhm.
still holding themselves and saying, "Oh, this is," that's what
My
it's all
my
about.
baby.
That's the old mama is there with her wrinkled face, and this is the man she has known all her life. So that could be brought back, but our generation is taking a different turn. But we could bring it back to those sweet, good um, foundation that we used to have in marriage. So stay tuned for more discussion. This is going to be a beautiful one. George is there, an expert on this. BD and some other ladies will all be giving their take, and it will be a nice one to have things to consider in divorce. the pros and the cons of divorce before we do that. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.